December 8th, and we are on the Chessex dice calendar. So the pattern thus far has been that if I rotate it once to the left, I am finding the next hatch. Let's see if that holds true for this one. It does. Good. Then let's get this little boy open. So I actually have a bit of an update. So you can see the set from the yesterday's opening. Well, the part of the set that was in there. I think there was supposed to be an entire set in that box. And I was like a little sort of like, okay, white on light blue and white. Not the best kind of color combination. And it turns out when I went to go to bed, I noticed something which was also on some of the other die, namely the ones with white numbers. They glow in the dark. I had not envisioned that, I did not know that, because it wasn't stated, and it isn't stated, on the description of the dies that you get. Now, having glow-in-the-dark die is a neat little thing. I don't mind it, but in honesty, it's something that I don't really use. Like, I have also a set of these sort of alien die, and like I could use them because they are legible even without glow-in-the-dark. That is not necessarily the case for the other ones, because there the lettering is what is glow in the dark and not the die in itself. So it's a gimmick. I don't mind it, but it's not something that makes me say like, "Ooh, I want this set." Not unless it is in general is pretty. If it is in general pretty, then sure, I'll get that. What have we here? Oh, it's a D20. Looks very colorful, speckled, one might say. Now, can I... Come on. Come. Now, this is definitely something to consider when designing a dice calendar. Don't make the hatches this deep and don't make them with this much edge, because it is not very easy to get a die out. I actually pricked myself with the pick here. Maybe I shouldn't have been dangling around with the pick in my other hand, but it's free now. Now, it doesn't appear that there is... I'm a little concerned because the next hatch, as you can see, is 24. And I don't want to spoil myself, but we also know that the hatch number 7 over here was... breached? Was a little shoddy with the strength of the walls into the next chamber, which unfortunately happens to be number 24, but just from this side. So I might have spoiled myself, or I might have entered some of the die from the hatch number 7 into hatch 24. I don't know. Let's see what this D20 is. So, I like the base color being sort of black opaque, and I don't mind the sort of speckled white and green, although it kind of... My first thought when I saw this color combination was bird poop. Perhaps not the most glorified one, but unfortunately, it's not great for legibility. Now, blue does contrast somewhat with green and white, but not enough. This is like, if you only had stuff like this is fine, you can read this, but as soon as you go to like 5 and 13, that is 13, that isn't 18. Like, these are not easy to read. That's not great. Like, if you had made this one red, for example, a bright red, that would have been easier, because red contrasts more with green, where to green and blue, especially this kind of blue, the sort of ultramarine blue, kind of baby blue mixture, doesn't really lend itself well to legibility. Now, for an entire opaque black dye, this blue would have been just fine, but because of this speckled coloring, it's not great. Yeah, you'd basically have to sort of memorizing this or basically pick it up every time you were to use it. Which, if you're in a chill group and just, like, you pick this up as a random dye out of a bag of already assorted dye, it's perfectly fine. Like, opaque dyes, I'm generally not so concerned with in terms of being balanced. But for legibility, this one isn't great. Like, it does have, let's say, it has like a belt here going through where you have legible numbers that are like 6, partly 4, 18, 2, 12, 10, 16, and 6. But yeah, when most of the dye isn't easy to read, that is not a great part. Now, I know that there isn't really a way when you are making these mixed colored dye. You basically have sort of like a tub of the base resin, so probably a black opaque resin. And then you basically take whatever things you want to mix in. If you're just mixing in colors, you usually take drips of, let's say, white and green in this case, and sort of drip feed them in and stir it around. That's usually how you get the sort of marbled look that many dyes have. But and that are obviously doesn't make any kind of set pattern. You can make set patterns, but they take more work rather than just mixing it up in that tub. Unfortunately, it also means that it's going to be very hard to predict how legible each D20 is. So you could buy like 10 of these D20s, and you might get one where it's mostly legible, but you might also get 3 that are almost entirely illegible, and that's not so great. Well, bird poop, you still have deserved a roll through the tower. 12. All right. Now, it was lucky that it actually landed on one of the clear ones because, well, there was no guarantee that it would. Okay, I will see you tomorrow for the next die, but until then, take care.